Also, shout out to Kohanine Sean Appleton and all you guys that are in here in the building. Shabbat shalom to you, and all those who are viewing by the stream. Shabbat shalom to you, and welcome to First Tabernacle Fellowship as well. So we have a beautiful. We're gonna go through some beautiful scriptures today. We're gonna go through Haggai today. I don't know, some of you guys probably never really heard of Haggai, but you're gonna get familiar with him today. And I'll be going towards through Haggai, Zechariah, and then Malachi. But before I get there, we're gonna touch on a little bit of points on my last video. Okay, so from my last video, if you guys seen it, I did a Yahweh's Unification Part 1 video. And when I was going through this video, when I brought to the attention for us in Scripture, that we can see that when we look at Noah and his sons, when Noah and his sons, they came and they repopulated the earth after the flood. So therefore, in this earth that we live in, this world is seeded through Noah. No matter what set of people that you are looking at, they can come from either Shem, they can come from Ham, or they can come from Japheth. And all three of these sons are descendants of the righteous seed of Noah. And we also know that there were Nephilim too. So I have seen that some of the Nephilim are either they're from the land of Canaan, and some of them possibly have mixed with the seed of Ham as well. So the point that I was making on this unification is that we are all one big family. And, you know, we all know that in every family we have disagreements and we have feuds. So we can almost look at this world as basically a family feud that is going on. So we're doing the things that we're doing here, and we're trying to get on that right page again. So, and I went over this with my colleagues as well. So when so if we're all connected, right? If everyone is coming from this seed of Noah, then it might ask an individual, okay, so how do we get this concept of a foreigner? How does a foreigner come into play if we're all family? So from my research so far and what I spoke to with my colleagues about, I would say that the definition of a foreigner is someone who has went astray from the covenant or who has lost information of the covenant. Because we know that Noah, being a righteous man that he is, we know that he taught Shem, Ham, and Japheth. We know that he taught them the Torah. So how do his descendants, we come to this point where now through his descendants there are some foreigners. So that's where, in my studies, that's why it seems right to be that foreigners have came about from certain groups who either have abandoned Yah's Torah or they have forgot about it. Okay, and so at the same time, while we are talking about how we are all connected through Noah, we also know that there is spiritual difference. Because just because you're bloodline, that doesn't put you just in the safe or the saved zone. You have to have a heart that is willing to worship the Most High and carry out his words, because you can be full-blown blood Hebrew Israelite, but if you are not walking in the Most High's ways, you will not get the blessings that are meant for Hebrew Israel and the blessings of Abraham. And we all know that those who are willing to apply the Most High's ways, you are welcome to be grafted into the family of Israel. So I just want to go over those points from my last unification video before we move on to this beautiful chapter and this beautiful book of Haggai. Okay, and so this is just a map again that I want to show you guys from the last video. And it says right here, it says, these three were the sons of Noah, and from them the whole earth was populated. So this is just a visual that I can show you guys on about through text of how I'm explaining that we are connected. And looking at this graph, like I said, some of them, they may be a little off. It seems fairly right to me, but again, we study with each other and we learn from each other. But this is a graph showing the connections of these descendants that are coming out of Noah. All right. So what we're gonna go in today, we're gonna read Haggai, and I'm super excited for this because Haggai is going to talk about the Most High's temple, and that's what I was talking with a visitor or a family member returning home today, and it is also a very much of a coincidence that we read Psalms 24 today because that was going to go right in. It talked about the temple. So it seems like the energy is in its right place already. Okay, so when we go to, we can go to Haggai, and we're going to start reading this, and we're going to start at verse 1. Okay, and it says, in the second year of Darius the king, on the first day of the 6th month, the following word of Yah came through Haggai, the prophet, to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehudah, and to Yahashua, the son of Jehozadak, the Kohanim Haggadah. Okay, so to give a little backdrop on what's going on here in this situation, I have done some research on what happened coming to this situation. So I was searching the text, and I have some possibilities. And if anyone can prove through scripture what happened right before this event, please put it in the chat or something so we can get it clear. So far from where I'm seeing, it says right here, this is the second year of Darius the king. So this is a Persian king. So I have heard and I have done my studies where Israel was in Babel captivity for 70 years, and then the Persians took over Babel, and then the Persians gave some of the Israelites right to go back to their land. Then I've also heard it be seen that they were just in the Persian captivity, and then King Cyrus had made a decree for them to go back and be able to rebuild Jerusalem, and now it's finally being carried out. So these are the two possibilities that I'm seeing in my studies. If anyone can help us prove that through scripture, please drop it in a comment, or we can talk about it afterwards. Okay, so let's continue to read here. Stopped at verse 2. It says, here is what Yahweh Shabbaoth says. This people is saying that now isn't the time. The time hasn't yet arrived for Yahweh's house to be rebuilt. Then this word of Yahweh came through Haggai the prophet. So is now the time for you to be living in your own paneled houses, while this house lies in ruins. Therefore, this is what Yahweh Shabbaoth says. Think about your life. You sow much, but bring in little. You eat, but aren't satisfied. You drink, but never have enough. You clothe yourself, but no one is warm. And he who works for a living earns wages that are put in a bag full of holes. Here's what Yahweh says. Think about your life. Now, you notice he said this a second time. He just stated that. Go up into the hills, get wood, and rebuild the house. I will be pleased with that, and then I will be glorified, said Yahweh. You looked for much, but it came to little. And when you brought it home, I blew it away. Why? Asked Yahweh Shavuot. Because, here he's giving us the answer right here. Because my house lies in ruin, while every one of you runs to take care of his own house. This is why the sky above has withdrew the dew, so that there is none, and the land withholds its yield. In fact, I called for a drought on the land and on the hills, on the grain, the wine, and the olive oil, on what the ground brings up, on men, animals, and all that its hands produce. So I'm going to pause right here. So from studying and reading these verses, we can see that Yahweh is basically saying that you guys need to put me first no matter what the situation is. And you need to care for me. And then Yahweh says right here, Yahweh says, get to work. Now I know we are not the individuals of the Israelites that are in the exact situation that they are in, because they are back in the land where the temple is, and it's right there in front of them. We're not, the temple is not very close to us, so we can't just go and just start rebuilding the temple. However, we can get to work and get our temple right inside of us spiritually and physically. And we can do that now before we even step land in the soil. So this is a big message that I'm seeing that Yahweh is giving us when he's expressing through these verses. And then when you also look at let's go back to verse 4. Right here it says, so now is the time for you to be living in your own panel houses, while this house lies in ruins. And then he says right here also in verse 9, he says, you looked for much, but it came to little. And when you brought it home, I blew it away. Why? Asked Yahweh Shavuot. And he says it again. Because my house lies in ruin, while every one of you runs to take care of his own house. So how I'm intaking this when I'm reading Yah's word on this is, while I am in exile, I am not overwhelmed or over happy by any house or dwelling place that I have. And it seems like this message Yahweh is telling all of us. We are worried about our houses, but what about Yah's house? You know what I mean? It's ruined while we are fine with our houses. So for me, while I'm in exile, whether it's a trailer, whether you sleeping in somebody's house, whether you got a 2-bedroom apartment, whether you got a 5-bedroom, 7-bedroom mansion, please keep this in mind that these are just possessions. And guess what? Yahweh owns everything, so everything in life to us is borrowed anyways. So be careful on how we cling to our possessions, and let's worry about getting Yah first. Let's make sure that we are doing the things that Yah wants and putting Yah first so that we can truly have a blessed life. Because we all understand when we are pleasing to the Most High, this is when things go well for us. Okay. Now let me finish this. It says, verse 12, then Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, and Yahashua, the son of Jehozadak, the Kohanim Haggadah is the high priest, with all the rest of the people, paid attention to what Yahweh, their Elohim, had said, and the words of HAGGAI the prophet, since Yahweh, their El, had sent him. And the people were filled with the fear in the presence of Yah. Haggai, the messenger of Yahweh, conveyed this message of Yah to the people. I am with you, says Yahweh. Yahweh roused the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehudah, and the spirit of Yahashua, the son of Jehozadak, the Kohanim Haggadah, and the spirits of all the rest of the people, so that they came and began to work on the house of Yahweh Shabbaot, their Elohim. This was in the 24th day of the 6th month of the year of Darius the king. So from looking in here, they began to so Haggai is almost like, I see Haggai and he's like a spark. You know what I mean? His people, they're right there. They're in Jerusalem. They're in a good situation, but their focus is off. You know what I mean? They're a little bit off. And Yahweh is using Haggai to ignite that flame and that zealous for Yah's temple and Yah's ways. And so that's what we're seeing going here with Yahashua. And see here, and then Most High explains, and then when you go back to verse 10, the Most High clarifies again about this being zealous for the Most High's temple, which has been present in this conversation today. So keep this in mind, verse 10, because repetition is good, so we can get this in our system. This is why the sky above has withdrew the dew, so that there is none, and the land withhold its yield. In fact, I called for a drought on the land and on the hills, on the grain, the wine, and the olive oil, and what the ground brings up, on men, animals, and all that hands produce. So we can see, just to keep this clear, that the Most High is very concerned and very much trying to get our attention to pay attention to his house. I mean, look at all the things that he's doing to them for them not doing it. We can clearly see that the Most High is very much concerned about his house, and so we should do the same as well. Oh, matter of fact, I got it. Yep, so for Haggai chapter 1, are you concerned about Yah's temple? Or are we in this exile, are we so used to just worrying about ourselves where the Most High temple doesn't even come to our thought and play as something that we need to be concerned about? Haggai, Most High is using Haggai to remind us that we need to be concerned about the Most High's temple. Again, get to work physically and spiritually for Yahweh. And notice these men, when they're working for these temples, work is physical. You know what I mean? You can work physically and mentally, but it causes energy. It can get you tired. All these things. But guess what? We are not to complain. We are to be strong, and we should be happy that we are doing work for Yahweh. And like I said again, we are not in the land, but we can spiritually and physically get our temples and our spirits starting to get in the right track right now before we even hit the land. And I just read verse 10 right here on all the different things that Yah said he done to them for them not putting the Most High's temple first. So when I'm also reading this and I see what the Most High has done to him, he calls this drought and stuff like that. So you can ask yourself, well, how long have they been there for them to get all these signs? So I'm not 100% sure how long they've been there. Again, if I don't know something, I'm not afraid to say it. So if anybody can help us prove through Scripture in the comments how long they've been there. Some say, I've watched some clips, some say they were there almost like 14 years in the temple was like that. And then finally Haggai comes. I don't know. I can't prove it through Scripture. So if I can't prove it through Scripture yet, I'm not going to say that. But I'm saying this out loud, so let's keep this in mind. Let's study. Let's put our minds together. If you guys know something, please put it in the comments or contact us. Okay, so let's get to chapter number 2. It says, on the 21st day of the 7th month. So now we just read at the end, it was on the 24th day of the 6th month. So now this is about a month later. On the 21st day of the 7th month, this word of Yahweh came through Haggai the prophet. Speak now to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, the governor of Yehuda, and Yahashua, the son of Jehozadak, the Kohanim Haggadah, and to the rest of the people. Say to them, who among you is left that saw this house in its former glory? And how does it look to you now? It seems like nothing to you, doesn't it? Nevertheless, Zerubbabel, take courage now, says Yahweh, and take courage, Yahashua, the son of Jehozadak, the Kohanim Haggadah, and take courage, all you people of the land, says Yahweh, and get to work, for I am with you, says Yahweh Elohim. This, let's see, for Yahweh Elohim. Verse 5. This is in keeping with the word that I promised in a covenant with you when you came out of Egypt, and my spirit still remains with you. And again, when you understand the covenant, we understand that the Most High, what they call the Old Testament, it's not old. This is an everlasting covenant, and the Most High is speaking about the same covenant that he said when they came out of Egypt, and my spirit remains with you. So don't be afraid, for this is what Yahweh Sabaoth says. It won't be long before one more time I will shake the heavens and the earth, the sea and the dry land, and I will shake all nations, so that the treasures of all the nations will flow in. And I will fill this house with glory, says Yahweh Sabaoth. The silver is mine, the gold is mine, says Yahweh Sabaoth. And then he says this right here. This is we really need to pay attention to this one, verse 9. The glory of this house will surpass that of the old, says Yahweh Sabaoth. And in this place I will grant shalom, says Yahweh Sabaoth. So before we go on right here, again, like we stated before about being having a balance on our feel and control of possessions. And right here in verse 8, Yahweh is stating a little bit of that right here. He's saying the silver is mine, the gold is mine. You almost basically say everything is mine, so you guys need to be not so greedy and take care of me and do what I am asking you to do. And then I also, when I read this made me think of life. When I read about the house where it says right here, where it says, verse 3, it says, who among you is left that saw this house in its former glory? And how does it look to you now? It seems like nothing to you, doesn't it? Nevertheless, he tells the people to take courage. So when I'm reading about the house and how they saying far as the nations may be viewing it as it seems nothing to them, and we can also see that with Hebrew Israel themselves, they're also viewing this temple as it is seeming as nothing to them right now. But the Most High is telling them to take courage. So I'm saying that similar to the temple, some of these individuals, they may also feel this way about their lives. We don't know how much struggle these people went through where they may feel little about their lives. But guess what? Yahweh is telling you, you don't need to feel little about your life. You need to take courage and see the blessings that Yah is going to give you. And that's what he says right here. And then he says, the glory of this house will surpass that of the old. So even though we're looking at So looking at Israel in this situation, we can understand that it seems like they just got out of exile. And so some of these Israelites, I'm pretty sure they had to leave some of their families and friends, getting used to the new way of life, trying to get their houses in control and to order. They're having, you've seen the Most High is calling the droughts on from what the ground produces to the men to the animals. So we can see that they are basically having some struggles. But also, that's what I said when I seen this and I read it about the temple. Again, like our lives, do not look at our lives like it seems as nothing. You don't know the glory that the Most High can bring into our lives when we follow the ways of the Most High. And right here, when he says this again, I have to read it again. The glory of this new house will surpass that of the old. So he's basically telling them that the glory that your ancestors has felt, if you listen to me, you're going to feel a glory even better than that. So take courage, and this is for us to not get so caught up in negative thoughts and negative things that flow in our mind when we're thinking about our life and our current situations. All right, let's see here. I left on verse 10, so let's keep it going. On the 24th day of the 9th month. Okay, so we read on verse 1, it was in the 7th month, so now this is about 2 months later. In the 2nd year of Darius, this word of Yahweh came through Haggai the prophet. Here is what Yahweh Shava'ot says. Ask the Kohanim what the Torah says about this. If someone carries meat that is set aside as set apart in a fold of his cloak, and then he lets his cloak touch bread, stew, wine, olive oil, or any other food, does that food become set apart too? The Kohanim, the priest, answered no. Then Haggai asked, if someone who is unclean from having had contact with a court touches any of these food items, will they be unclean? The Kohanim had answered, they will be unclean. Haggai then said, that is the condition of this people. That is the condition of this nation before me, says Yahweh. And that is the condition of everything their hands produce, so that anything they offer there is unclean. And then Yahweh goes on. He says, now please, from this day on, keep this in mind. Before you began laying stones on each other to rebuild the temple of Yahweh, throughout that whole time, when someone approached a 20-measure pile of grain, he only found 10. And when he came to the winepress to draw out 50 measures, there were only 20. I struck you with a blasting wind, mildew, hail on everything your hands produced. But you still wouldn't return to me, says Yahweh. So please keep in mind from this day on, from the 24th day of the 9th month, from the day of the foundation of Yahweh's temple was laid. Consider this. There is no longer any seed in the barn, is there? In the wine, fig trees, pomegranate trees, and olive oil have produced nothing yet, right? However, oh my goodness, however, from this day on, I will bless you. So this is again, like I said, Haggai being used through the Most High to bring that spark. Because you can see that even though the Most High says how they're acting, the Most High said, however, from this day on, I will bless you. So there is something that they needed to hear and got ignited in their spirit to help them get to that spiritual goal where the Most High wanted them to be at. And so let's go back to right here in this chapter where it was talking about the priests. Okay, and it says right here, we can go to verse 11, where it says, here is what Yahweh Shavuot asks. The Kohanim, what the Torah says, if someone carries meat that has been set aside as set apart in the fold of his cloak, then he lets the cloak touch bread, stew, wine, olive oil, or any other food, does that food become set apart too? The Kohanim answered no. So this is, and then when I'll read the next one, but he's saying this is the condition of my people. Matter of fact, let me finish reading that part where it says that right here, because I can just read that. No, 13. Then Haggai said, if someone who is unclean from having contact with a corpse touches any of these food items, will they be unclean? The Kohanim answered, they become unclean. Haggai then said, that is the condition of this people. That is the condition of this nation before me, says Yah, and that is the condition of everything their hands produce, so that anything they offer me is unclean. So I want to pull up a few verses on the unclean. If you can go to Leviticus, and we're going to go to chapter 15, and we're going to read verse 19. We're going to start at 19. Get my book. My book is falling apart. Okay, I'll read right here. Okay, and this is just some examples. If a woman has a discharge, and the discharge from her body is blood, she will be in her state of nida for 7 days. Whoever touches her will be unclean until evening. Everything she lies on or sits on in her state of nida will be unclean. Whoever touches her bed is to wash his clothes and bathe himself in water. He will be unclean till evening. So this is an example of when he gave the example of being unclean and you're coming into contact with touching other things. If you're unclean, you make them unclean as well. And then we can also, if we go into the midbar, which is Numbers, and if we can go to Numbers 19, and we're going to look at 22. And then it says and then it says right here, you guys, now it's always good again to read the whole chapter. I'm always going to say that. Let's read 22. Anything the unclean person touches will be unclean, and anyone who touches him will be unclean till evening. So this is going back to what the Most High says, this is the condition of my people, because you have what he said, what is holy, and if he puts it in a cloak and it touches other things, does those things become holy too? No, they don't. The holy thing is remaining holy, but it's not going to automatically get everything else around it holy. So, and then he says right here, when you have this person with the corpse, where is it at right here? 13. If someone is unclean from having contact with a corpse, touches any of these food items, they will be unclean. So if someone touched the dead body and they're touching the food or the meats and the drinks and stuff like that, and the other people come behind it and they're touching it too, now you're causing other people to become unclean as well. And the Most High is saying, this is the condition of my people. So there is a very necessity for us as a people to make sure that we are clean, so we are not putting uncleanness on our brothers and sisters and those that are around us. Okay, now let me see where else to go. Temples. Yeah, I got the house, then the house, therefore some of the temple was, temple is being viewed. Okay, there's some friends, going to the house, okay. Trying to get the homes right. Okay, now let's finish this up right here. Let's see here. I left at right here where it says, however, from this day on, I will bless you. The word of Yahweh came a second time to Haggai on the 24th day of the month as follows. Tell Zerubbabel, the governor of Yehuda, and he says this again, I will shake the heavens and the earth. I will overturn the thrones of kingdoms. I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the nations, and I will overturn the chariots and the people riding in them. The horses and the riders will fall, each by the sword of his brother. When that day comes, says Yahweh Shabbaot, I will take you, Zerubbabel, my servant, the son of Shealtiel, says Yahweh, and I will wear you like the signet ring, for I have chosen you, says Yahweh Elohim. So again, we can see that Haggai has come. He has come to be his spark for his people. He has mainly been talking to Zerubbabel, Yahashua, because Zerubbabel is the governor. Yahashua is the Kohanim Haggadah. So these are the leaders. And the Most High used Haggai to tell them to take courage to make the spark. And notice that Haggai, even though, I know this is a small thing, but I just want to bring it up. Even though Haggai is the prophet, and he's delivering this message, you can see there is no jealousy. Everybody understands their role and their journey that they have for the Most High. He's not jealous because he had brought this message that is helping through the Most High, that's helping spark the people. And then the Most High says, I will take you, Zerubbabel, my servant, and wear you like a signet ring, for I have chosen you. So that's a small thing in there, but we also have to know not to be jealous of each other, people. You know what I mean? It's just there's a blessing in options. There's a blessing in difference. I mean, like smoothies. I always say this. The banana is not mad at the blueberry when you're trying to make a smoothie. You know what I mean? Your eyeballs don't need to be mad at your finger. You know what I mean? Your teeth don't need to be mad at your tongue. You know what I mean? Those things are different. See the beauty in them. You know what I mean? Wherever it is, the Most High has blessed us, and he has gave us this artistic, this beautiful world. And from you people who are able to travel this world, man, y'all know that. The Most High has very much blessed us. But again, I ain't even hitting on this slide. I kept on. Okay. So again, don't be discouraged by your current situation. Put Yah first to be truly blessed. Verse 4 reminds us, take courage and get to work. Go through some struggles. Stay strong, stay loyal, faithful, and don't complain. When we go work out, and when people go work out or when they go run, you're going to go through some struggles. To lift that weight, you're going to feel that burn. To run, you're going to get tired and all that. But guess what? You're not complaining because you know through your hard work, you're going to get good results from it. So let's keep this same energy spiritually when we're going through things with the Most High. When you're going through something hard, don't just crawl up and cry like a baby and be all weak. No, if you handle it the right way and you have Most High in your focus, what you're going through is going to make you stronger, just like when you're lifting them weights. Okay, and then we have Yahweh comforts Israel by letting them know of the new temple will surpass the glory of the old. Also, Yah told them in verse 5, my spirit remains with you, so therefore you are not to be afraid. And that's one thing that we really have to keep in mind when we are functioning in this world and we're dealing with whatever situations that we are dealing with, that the Most High is with us and we will protect us as long as we keep our spirit right and we keep it hunted, we keep it honest with the Most High. All right. So let's see here. Now, that's such a coincidence, Moray, that you read Psalms 24, because I was going to read that too. Yes, I was going to read 24. So when you had it up over here, I said, oh my goodness. I said, this is divine or something. Talking about the temple today. Okay, so I got a little quiz for y'all. I'm not long today. I'm still getting used to being up here, and I want to give a clean start from when we start in Zechariah. I love that book as well. That was the main one I wanted to go to, but then I started reading Haggai and started going through it. I said, oh no, I got to bring this message in about the temple. Okay, so I got a little quiz for y'all right here. Which tribe gave birth to twins? Come on, y'all can talk to me. Y'all can guess. Is it Levi? Is it Benjamin? Ephraim? Yehuda? Zebulun? Issachar? What we got? What y'all thinking? What anybody got? Who say Levi? Nobody say Levi? Benjamin, anybody? Ephraim? Yehuda? You say Ephraim? You say Ephraim? Anybody Yehuda? No Yehudas? Okay, no Yehudas. What about Zebulun? Who say Zebulun? Nobody with Zebulun? Issachar? Anybody with Issachar? Okay, y'all. So we got a couple saying Ephraim, right? And no one saying Benjamin and Levi. Okay, y'all quit. If y'all looking on your phones, quit looking on your phones. Don't cheat. I'm about to give y'all the answer right now, so don't be cheating. All right. So Yehuda is the one who had twins. Okay, so let's bring it up right here. Bereshit chapter 38. If we can go there, Bereshit chapter 38, and then we are going into verse 24 to, what is it, 24 to 20? Okay. 24, 30. Yeah, okay. Let's go read it through. About 3 months later, Yehuda was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has been acting like a whore. Moreover, she is pregnant as a result of prostitution. Yehuda said, bring her out and let her be burned alive. When she was brought out, she sent this message to her father-in-law. I am pregnant by the man to whom these things belong. Determine, I beg you, whose these are, the signet, the cord, and the staff. Then Yehuda acknowledged to owning them, because remember, Yehuda didn't know that it was his daughter-in-law, and then Yehuda had also promised to let her marry his son, but that never happened. You'll see a little bit of it. Yehuda acknowledged owning him. He said, she is more righteous than I, because I didn't let her become the wife of my son, Shelah. And he never slept with her again. When she went into labor, it became evident that she was going to have twins. As she was in labor, one of them put out his hand, and the midwife took his hand and tied a scarlet thread on it, saying, this one came out first. But then he withdrew his hand, and his brother came out. She said, how did you manage to break out first? Therefore, he was named Peretz, breaking out. Then out came his brother with the scarlet thread on his hand, and he was given the name Zerach, scarlet. So, to answer that for y'all, now we know that Yehuda gave twins. And I got one more little quiz for y'all, one more. Okay. Which prophet cut a giant into pieces? Was it Yahshua? Was it Ezekiel? Was it Amos? Was it Samuel? Was it Isaiah? Who says Yahshua? How many we got for Yahshua? Nobody for Yahshua? Okay. Who we got for Ezekiel? Anything for Ezekiel? Anybody got something for Ezekiel? No. Okay. What about Amos? You know Amos don't play. You say, okay, we got Amos. Okay. What about Samuel? The one what's the name? Made him king. Anybody for Samuel? No. Okay. Isaiah. Okay, who we got for Isaiah? You know, y'all just love Isaiah. I knew that was going to happen. All right, y'all. Let's find the answer. Y'all ready? Let's get it. Boom! Samuel, y'all. Can we pull it up, please? 1 Samuel chapter 15, and we're going to read on verse 32. Mm-hmm. 1 Samuel, 15 and 32. Then Samuel said, "Bring Agag, the king of Amalek, here to me." Agag came to him in chains and said, "Without doubt, mine will be a bitter death." Samuel says, "Just as your sword has left women childless, so will your mother be left childless among women." Then Shemuel cut Agag into pieces before Yah and Gilgal. So now y'all know Samuel is the one who chopped them up. Just to give y'all some questions, you know what I mean, help y'all get familiar with the word just a little bit. Thank you. All right, so I also want to bring this one up. This is, y'all already know, please keep coming to First Tabernacle Fellowship, Yahweh's Exile Empire on YouTube. And I also have a YouTube channel. It's Yahweh Heals 11. Recently, I just did this one that calls Yahweh's Only New Covenant. And a lot of that is gonna go and show you how the Most High covenant stays the same. And a big part of emphasis on this video is going to be in Jeremiah 31. I think it started around 18, where the Most High talks about the new covenant that he is going to bring. And this new covenant, it's not about no man or anyone dying for our sins or any of that. This new covenant that the Most High is saying, he says, "I'm going to put my word inside of you." So check this out when y'all can and read it for you. And you know, we bring the scriptures up so y'all be reading scriptures for yourself. Because we ain't adding or we ain't subtracting. And so that's pretty much it that I have for today. I was going to read the Psalms 24. But man, it was perfect, Moray. It was perfect. And I just want to let y'all know on this last part, on Zephaniah, if you look at verse 13, it says, "The remnant of Israel will not do wrong, nor," it says that, Zephaniah chapter 3, and it says right here on verse 13, it says, "The remnant of Israel will not do wrong, nor will they speak lies." So we can use this, as I was speaking with a brother earlier, as an identification piece of when you're looking at how do you know if you're dealing with the people of the remnant. You know if you're dealing with the people of the remnant when right here, like it says, when you're dealing with individuals, the remnant of Israel will not do wrong, nor will they speak lies, nor will it be found in their tongues a tongues given over to deceit. So when you find individuals who are speaking the Most High's word and what the Most High says only, that's how you can have an identification piece to know that you are dealing with a remnant. I want to thank y'all, my people. I thank y'all so much. Shabbat shalom. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I hope y'all learned something today. Thank you.